Lights, camera, action. Let's dive in deep. Talking directors, actors, the secrets they keep. From behind the scenes to the silver screen. Hard-hitting questions, nothing in between. We're rated B, rated the podcast sensation. Unveiling truth, sparking conversations. Where every story gets its chance to shine. We're rated B, rated, let's rewind.
Welcome to B-rated, B-rated conversations. We haven't done one of these in a while. Well, you've done more than I have.
Oh, yeah.
Today we are here with Martin Daniels. I got that right?
Yeah.
I'm bad with names.
Okay.
Director of Beyond Mamushi.
Mamushi.
Mamushi? Okay.
Yeah.
I had to mess up something.
It's either the name or the name of the, movie.
But, wonderful movie. I mean, I work in mental health and I think a lot of movies try to skirt around being specific. This one did not. And landed everything.
Wow. Okay. Thanks very much.
And I usually just give people mental problems. Like, why the hell is Brian like that? So we're on both sides of the spectrum because they're like, dude, why are you friends with that guy? And then everybody's like, what are you talking about? So
right. Okay.
I deal them up and Anthony takes care of them. That's how we're making the big bucks, actually, is what they say.
I knew you were making big bucks. I can tell this. Clearly, we are both are,
Yeah, they go up there. It's like, oh, we got another punch card for Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like the movie as well. Like, thank you. I don't know how you, found us on Instagram, but yes. So I'm Brian, and you and I have been the ones talking back and forth and everything on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
So, yes. Thank you. We love it. We love it. Thank you for the opportunity.
That's great. Good to meet both of you. And constantly digging through Instagram and finding different people to review the film. Come across both of you nice guys, and really glad you both like it, and glad to be on here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So go ahead.
Go for it, Anthony.
Well, so how did you come up with this concept for this movie? And you could also kind of give a brief synopsis of what the movie is about, if you want to as well.
The film's about a young couple that move into a new place, and there's some problems between the couple due to psychological abuse from Kate's partner, Chris. And she finds a business card that's left by a previous owner called Mamushi. I can't even say it now. It's my own film. So things lead from there, really, and I don't really want to sort of say any more about it. But it's a psychological supernatural horror film that's got mental health storyline interwoven through it. It's not the other way around. It's definitely not. It's not a mental health horror film. It's nothing like that. It's not a film about mental health. It was not written like that at all. It's a horror film, supernatural psychological horror, and it's got that storyline going through it. So that's definitely secondary to my idea of the film. Otherwise it would have been a kind of heavy drama, about mental health, which it's not. It's got connotations there for that, obviously, but the way I see it, it's not like that at all. And every podcast, like we do, me and the cast, and we're lucky to do any podcast. We're very grateful to be here. It's a different answer for the question about, how did I write it? Because there's so many different, multiple reasons, One of them is 70s disco, and someone on the podcast what the fuck, And I was like, well, if you listen to kind of Rolls Royce, or you listen to Maxine Nightingale, the track that was famously used on The Follow Him, is a very downside. There's a very celebratory side to 70s disco, but there's a very downside, a melancholic side as well. So I listened to a lot of that, shape the script. And I come from metal and punk, and obviously that kind of music, yeah, it was kind of secondary to that. So, and also I've known a lot of people that have gone through psychological abuse and physical abuse from partners. And, that was kind of later on. I kind of was thinking about that more. And, I was in a situation myself with an ex-girlfriend and a new boyfriend a long time ago, 27 years ago, and it was a frightening situation. So I suppose that situation you see in a room, yeah, you see the reality of it opening up in a small room with a little baby in a chair, and this big, huge, horrible guy, and yeah, awful. And I don't really want to elaborate on that, but I think that situation definitely taught me a lot, and I wasn't a filmmaker then. So, but now I thought, okay, I want to address this. But as I say, it's not a film about that, but I want to address it within the film, and within's a very important word with this film, So there's many, many different reasons why this film was made. The last film was a comedy. I wanted to do the antithesis of a comedy, and I just thought, I want to make something, I want to make a really good horror film, and I've tried it before. They've been okay. It's been a bit shit, but I want to do one that's really good. So I think
so we'd love to see that comedy too, because
it's good, yeah.
This movie. So I guess we're not going to do spoilers, Jack. When does this come out?
Well, it's in festivals at the moment, and the thing is, if you put it onto streaming, it could get disqualified from festivals, and I've always gone for festivals before streaming.
No,
so
didn't know that.
The streaming is going to be kind of next year, and I'm going to put it out on like a limited DVD that we're going to do like a professional thing with cast interviews that Nikolai Cornham, who was a cinematographer and editor on this film, he's doing all the camera work on the interview. So it's probably going to cost more to do the interviews than it is to press the fucking CD. But there you go. It's just one of those things, And it will be on, because my last film's on Amazon Prime, so I imagine that this film's on Amazon Prime. I would have thought so. I mean, if it isn't, I'm just like fucking off my subscription. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So then can we do a little bit of spoilers then throughout this chat?
If you'd like to, yeah.
All right. I won't do something too crazy, but yeah, I really like, and then you can tell if it was wrong or not. Maybe Joe, it started out super creepy and that kind of set the mood of it. Like, I don't know why it was creepy. She was just flying kites near the woods, and that really set the mood. Like, I don't know. That just seems really creepy for some reason, know? So like that starts out already like, I know flying a kite's supposed to be all happy and everything, but no, that set a mood of like weird and creepy, Right. So then I don't know, like it looked like the camera work was awesome, because then there was that couple, like it looked like the camera got darker when they went into the house. Like it kind of felt like that was like the flashback of it, like when she was flying the kite, that was like the new, like what's happening right now type of thing. But then it felt like it was darker, which then turned back in time where they went to that place and they found that card, which again, probably shouldn't do. If you move into a new house and there's automatically cards in there, you're like, nope, time to move. Like my wife and I, like I've said before, we had this like safe word where if I was like, babe, you got to trust me. Like I saw a ghost in this house or something. Then no matter what, we have to trust each other. But I forgot what that word was like years ago. So if my wife is trying to say it, I'm gonna be like, babe, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was that something that you did, or was I just completely off? Like, did you change the color of the cameras? Like when it was going, was there flashbacks? Yeah.
Yeah, there is a flashback, and once you go in the house is kind of naturally dark anyway, and we use kind of like dark gels and stuff, as in the kitchen scene with the blues and stuff that we used and stuff, the night kind of look. So even though it was night, we kind of accentuated that idea. So yeah, it does get darker with the kite scene. Yeah, I didn't really see it like that at all. No, I didn't see it as creepy. Didn't see anything like that at all. No, it was meant to be like Kate in a kind of happy place, and then she goes back, and then we see the complete opposite of this. And so, yeah, even though it was a very overcast day, I think that it helped being like that, not being, say, like it's a heat wave in London now. And if we filmed it now, so many people around. So I think that we got it at the right time in that park, and we filmed a lot in that park, as you saw. And yeah, I think melancholia maybe is the word, or melancholy. It's got that feel, but she's really smiling and she's really happy. And it's like all
Yeah.
she can count on is that kite. It's like all she can count on to help her through the problems that she's having. Yeah.
No, it was good. Like I said,
Yeah.
that I guess everybody sets it, they're different, but no,
Yeah.
it was, that kind of said it. Like I was like, I think something's bad's gonna happen. But another thing great that was about the movie is like you
Yeah.
think you know what's gonna happen next. Like we've watched tons of movies,
Yeah.
so like we'd be like, oh, this is gonna happen, oh, this is gonna happen. Nothing like that happened, And so
Yeah.
it kept
Yeah.
you guessing, like, oh, this is gonna happen, but then it didn't. You're just like, oh, forget what I just said, then this is what's gonna do it, So we really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And then it kept coming back to I guess towards it felt like they were going to like real time, but then it also seemed like they were going back in time when they were happier, but then it was here. So then you didn't really know, what's going
Yeah.
on. And I guess that's where the mental health stuff comes into it, where you're like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm with this girl, but then there's sometimes where it's the flashback to them being so happy and loving. You're just like, wait a second. So then it keeps you thinking, like, is she
Yeah.
just crazy? Like, most wives
Yeah.
are, or I'm glad
I wouldn't
my
say
wife
that,
doesn't listen to this. So
I wouldn't get involved in that statement at all, being very pro, I'm very pro women. So I think for me, antithesis is the biggest, one of the biggest words in the film, because things flip from being this and now they're this, and I think that like Chris's moods, for instance. So yeah, antithesis is definitely the opposite thing, and it works. It works within scenes, and it works from one scene to another. It just seems to really work with this film. Maybe it's not an idea that I'd use a lot again. I'd vary it next time maybe, but with this particular film, it seemed to fit really well with the couples, just the way that their life was moving through those 50 minutes.
Oh yeah. So I was gonna ask, um, with the way the interplay between them, it's almost as if like, is some of this in her head? Is it not? And I've noticed this with people that have been past victims of like violence or sexual assault or anything like that. It
Yeah,
doesn't take much. It's like
yeah,
you see somebody walk by who looks like the person who did the thing to you, and now all of a sudden your head is racing and you think this person did it because you're being drawn back into that. It's like a secondary
yeah,
PTSD experience.
yeah,
And a lot of these conversations, it's like there's the two sides of the coin. It's like he expresses some frustration, and then all of a sudden, like, could she be taking it to 100, or is it actually happening? And
yeah,
I think it's a very good representation that, like, for the person who has been through an abusive situation, the lens has changed from how
yeah.
you view situations and people and patterns.
Okay. Yeah, again, it's exactly the same answer, really. It's opposites. It's some of it is and some of it isn't in her mind, and we can tell what's in her mind blatantly because we can tell that that's not really happening in the room. But then we can tell, because it's a supernatural film as well, we can tell the supernatural elements of what are happening in the room as well, But with the kind of like little snap things that happen and the jump scares and maybe a couple of those or two, three of those, yeah, they're in her mind. And because it couldn't be, it wouldn't be happening in the room. It just wouldn't be like, happening any different than that, So yeah, they're written like that. But I didn't want to play on that too much with her character, you know, like it happens a lot from the film. It's just like here and there, which it should be, which it should be. You know, she's basically trying to plow her way through this relationship, trying to find a way out, you know, and she's in her own personal hell, you know, without quoting Hellraiser. But she's kind of, I know it's awful, but she's literally trying to find a way out of her own prison. Yeah, that's been built around her like unnecessarily and unfairly, and she believes maybe there might be someone there who can help her within the film.
Yeah, and it's very beautifully written how she like you see why he's doing what he's doing. You see why she's doing what she's doing. And
Yeah,
not to say that, necessarily anything that he's doing is okay. It's just there is a motivation, a thought pattern behind it as opposed to just being
yeah,
evil necessarily.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I understand. I hear you. Yeah, I think there's no real explanation about why he's behaving like he is. Um, the nearest to it would be his frustration over her,
Hmm.
and that's it. But I mean, it needs to be more than that. But I wanted to leave it as that, you know, for people to kind of make their own kind of assumptions of the character. And just like you said about, you know, is this in her mind or is it kind of not? And so it's good when you leave things open. I've always liked that in my films, to leave things open. Like, you know, there's no real explanation of like what medication she's taking or what she's, you know, is it dyspraxia she's got, or what has she got? You know, what's wrong with her? You know, hasn't been laid on the line. What's wrong with her to the viewer? And I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to
No.
keep it all away, you know, and just not go into any of those areas because I just thought it's pointless. Even if the film was 2 hours, I'd still shy away from doing that probably.
No, it's great because how you said everybody has their own point of view of it. Because still, like this movie, like Anthony's heard my ideas about the movie Memento. We're like, so what happened? Like, I still don't, but everybody has a different view of Memento. Like, did that person really kill his wife, or is it
Yeah,
really still out there, or is that guy really trying to help him? Like, I felt the same kind of with this movie where there's sometimes they're being lovey dovey and they're happy together, and then all of a
yeah,
sudden it switches for almost no reason. And so you're
yeah,
like, is this real? But then there's also a really great scene was they were in the kitchen and he just made her that nice dinner and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, like it looked like the camera kind of went dark. And then that's when he started flipping out. And you're just like, wait a second. Earlier today, there was that dark scene where it was like a backflash. So is
yeah.
it a backflash of him being mean, or is the dark saying that it's all in her head? And so everybody will have a different point of view of it. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Like even just that thing of,
Yeah.
they were so happy. And then something set him up like what? She dropped a plate on accident. And
Yeah.
he's like, how dare you ruin the night? No, it was just a plate. And so then that's the
This
part where
is
you
the
can
thing.
think about it,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
did he really get mad about a plate? Because he was almost there of getting it in. And so you really just lost it over a plate, or is it in her mind that something's going on,
Well, as we know in relationships, in abusive relationships, it's the small things that set people off, not so much the big things. And it's, you know, with this film, the number one word in this film when I first wrote it, the biggest word completely was I wanted to write a film that on a script that was unfair. And unfair is the word, and it has to be there, you know. Cruel's in there as well, but unfair is the massive word, yeah. And it's an unfair story, you know. It's a horribly unfair story, and that's how it works, you know. You know, it's the small things like a play, and you know, or anything, you know, that would set him off. And it's, I suppose, the camera, yeah, it does go slightly dark. Maybe it's almost like when we see the devil in Fantasia and everything starts to go dark in that
Yeah.
beautiful thing. So it's not as straightforward as that, but it's a bit more subtle than that. But it's not far away, to be honest with you. It's not far away, You
No.
know, in that idea anyway, I suppose. Now you come to mention it.
Yeah, no, we thought, and then there's, talk with the therapist too. Like, at some point, you realize, hey, man, like, I don't think this person's a real therapist. Like, giving her really horrible advice, like,
Yeah,
we give, we always make jokes about like giving CPR, like,
right.
spaghetti arms and just push anywhere you want. And I think
Yeah,
that our advice, like, I want to say what the therapist was doing, but at some point you start realizing, like, dude, this therapist isn't really good for her. And so that
yeah,
part, that's again, it starts making you think into a deeper part of the movie of, dude, maybe this therapist knows him, or maybe this therapist is, I don't know, don't want to say too much, but it made me
yeah.
think that there was something else going on with the therapist,
Right.
because that's when we first started meeting her and everything like that. So
Yeah.
that, that was a good one.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And if you're going to introduce a therapist into a psychological horror film, they're generally not going to take them out to Burger King, really, are they? So there's going to be like something else going on with them, and it's just kind of horror sort of license when you write a script that way. And I think that maybe we didn't. We kind of all thought there should be more of Gemma's character in the film, and I was going to try and fit one more scene in because we all love Gemma so much. She's an amazing actor, and but I thought it works as it is, and she agreed. Without fitting another scene in somewhere, because there was one where she was watching her walk into the house, and I kind of scrapped it and thought, it's not going to work. Maybe we'll keep her at a distance all the time. So she keeps even more ultra kind of mysterious in the film. So she's at the other end of the phone, and the phone cuts off when she knows she's just about to answer a specific question to Kate, and she won't answer it. And I really like that because I grew up with films that I thought were more scary and creepy when the phone cuts off than if, like, a monster comes on screen or something like that. I was
Yeah.
much more into those psychological horror things in the 70s when I was growing up, and the 80s that did that, especially the 70s did that a lot, actually. So, yeah, it was a bit of an ode, I suppose, to that, really.
Yeah. No, like we said, all the stuff that's coming up to it, it's all making sense, and it's people can have their own opinions about it and different views on it.
Yeah.
I did have a funny question though. So where was this shot?
Where was it shot?
Yeah.
Most of it was shot in Stratford, which is in East London. And the scene with the father's place was shot in Notting Hill. And obviously you've heard of Notting Hill from the Hugh Grant, Julia
Yeah.
Roberts film. So it was shot in just a really, really tiny, much smaller than this room. And we had to fit in there somehow. And it was no idea how we did it, but we did it.
That
But
was my
most of it,
question. Is that a normal size apartment or house or
no, not
something?
really. Well, if you look
Okay.
when she comes in the door,
Yeah, it
remember
looked nice.
Nikolai's?
And then there was that kitchen, and you're like, wait a second,
Yeah,
how do you get around there?
yeah.
I looked at it as like
Well,
a New York apartment. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of or seen videos of New York apartments. They're
I've
like,
been to New York, yeah, once in '95. Yeah, I went to Brooklyn, so I kind of know a lot of
dude,
those places. But yeah, when she comes in and we see the father there and we see her there, I remember Nikolai took me and showed me the shot. And I was like, fucking hell, it's like a Jean Le Garard shot, and it's just amazing. It's like a Nouvelle Vague shot. And that's kind of my favourite, film genre. And it was amazing. So we wanted that. And see, like, you just come in, the bed's there, kitchen's there. That's all it is. It's like kind of L-shaped room. It's tiny. But, it worked. It worked and we did it. And Kathy's moved from there now. She lives somewhere else. So we're just lucky to get that place at that time. But most of it was in, Stratford, that kind of very doom laden place, which is a really nice little house. But we seem to make it look, we just all walked in there and it just everything turned to shit. And that's how it works, right?
No, I was just wondering. Like, it looked like a nice. It looked like a smaller apartment. So I was just wondering if that's,
Oh,
that was just in one of my notes. Was like the kitchen. Even when they were having dinner, like it was just like
yeah,
a 2-person table, and then you could literally be
yeah.
like, "Hold on a second," and reach right here and grab the sink. And I was like, "No way, bro!" I was like,
That was
"But no,
actually
that
a
was just a
table. No, no, cool. That was a table that was actually in a spare room or like a
what?"
sitting room, and they didn't even use. She didn't even use it. A lovely lady called Caroline who let us use the place. So we were bringing the table in every day, and we're doing them shots, and she doesn't really use it, and we just set it up. And I just went to the store, and she's got these two kind of chicken tagliatelles, and we just kept heating them up in the microwave, so they had loads of steam and more steam, more fucking steam.
That
We're
is
doing that.
awesome.
And I remember Gary just like went into it and he's had all the chicken straight away. And then Karina was kind of picking at it and we were waiting for the shots to happen. But it worked, yeah, it worked. I really wanted the guys to finish the dinners, but I don't think we ever did, sort of thing. But you kind of it's like guerrilla filming, that kind of stuff. You just kind of just like get stuff, do stuff, put it in another room or go and you do it like that, indie
Yeah,
filming.
no,
And,
we know about that, but it also adds to the aspect of it of why they're probably upset. Like when they first got together, they were in love and everything like that. They probably had their own houses and
yeah,
everything, and now you literally can't be elbow widths apart from each other.
yeah,
So that probably could add to either her mind thinking that there's issues or him being like, God damn it, and
yeah.
having the issues.
Yeah, exactly. And we never see so many reviews have said, oh, we'd love to see a backstory, love to see this, love to see that. And I understand that, but I just thought, fuck that. I just like it going straight into it the way it is, other than going back too far. We see him at a fun fair or we see him walking through Leicester Square taking in a film or something in London. I was thinking, no, I don't want any of that. It just dotes too much upon that. The flashback explains enough for me,
Oh
you
yeah. Well, I
know.
mean, that definitely allows you to like sort of put yourself in their situation
That's
and
right.
kind of fill in the blanks on how you would get here, how this would happen, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And then, like I said, there's just the whole parts of knowing what is real, what's not, and then you start getting into the part of, and then the dad comes in, and at this
Right.
point, hopefully, let's see, hopefully the dad isn't real. You know what I'm saying,
Really?
dude?
He's not real.
I'm just saying, hopefully,
Okay.
because if my dad were to ever do anything like that to my wife,
Yeah.
then asses would be whooped,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then it's stuff like that where, but at the same time, I know somebody who was dating somebody and his dad was like, "Hey, what's up? You know, can you give me
Right.
an HJ?" And she's like, "Are you kidding me? I'm dating your son."
Bloody hell.
So then at
Jesus
that point, you're
Christ.
like,
Oh my God.
damn, and if the dad is
My
real,
God. Yeah. I mean,
then you understand
it,
if his son really is a piece of shit like that, because then that just throws an entire
yeah.
thing back. Because it used to think, well, I was like, how much of this is real? And then all of a sudden the dad comes into it, and you're just like, damn, it must have all been real because his dad's such a jerk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like, no freaking way the dad is like that. And so then it just throws another wrench in your thought process of, I think I know if this is going to happen. No, you don't, because then it shoots you off a different direction. You're just like,
Yeah.
damn. Like, so
Yeah.
great idea on that guy. Except I hope I don't ever meet him. I'll be like, hey, you son of a bitch. That was
He's
your
a he's one of the nicest guys in the world, actually. Yeah, he's got like 40 years experience, like stage experience and stuff. And he's a lovely guy, Stephen. He had a lot of people, all of us laughing on set. He was just like a ball of energy. He's like an older guy, and
oh,
yeah,
dude.
he was really really good. And we rehearsed for the first time. I never rehearsed a film before, and with parts like that, you have to rehearse them, and we did. And I was dreading that specific rehearsal that morning. I was like, oh my God, I got to do this fucking thing. And, you know, it went really well professionally and the guys were great. So when it comes to film it, weird thing is that the camera broke down that day and
See,
we
that's a
didn't film.
sign.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's never happened before in 16 years of filming. And so we filmed in November and then we stopped. Then we filmed again in March. So the Beyond Mamushi is in 2 parts, and you would never know because the continuity is impossible to work out what's going on because it doesn't go like up to a certain point, stop. It's all over the place what we filmed. So
How long did it take you? Oh, sorry.
Well, we only film for 6 hours a day. Sorry to digress from your previous question. So yeah, we don't really film that kind of long, really. And I suppose once we get together and have a tea or coffee and start working out the strategy, it's like 5 hours, and we only film for like a week, so it's not very long. But we film like an army. We just like bang it out. We just keep going. One scene's done, bang. Next scene, bang, 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 and change everything, move everything to the other side of the room, and that's how we work. And but yeah, sorry, Stephen's a really nice guy. But when you have an old guy with slippers that bad, you've got to try and write him in as something a little bit different, you know. So, you know, just those slippers are probably the most creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude. So how long did it take, like, from start to finish of filming? Did you say a week and that was it?
A week sort of broke up into 3 months. So it's like 2 or 3 days, and then there's a gap of 3 months, and then there's 2 or 3 days. And
Wow.
so we just did it like that because of the camera. It would have been done otherwise. But I think that we were lucky that the camera did break because we could assess that scene and rehearse it and work on the prosthetics better, and that's what
No,
we
it
did.
looked, you
You know?
couldn't tell. Like, you know, we've
Yeah.
had some chats with other producers and directors, and there's like, yeah, we filmed for like a year. What was one
Wow.
with Connor Holden where they're like, yeah, it was like a year or 2 years. And I was like, what the hell?
Oh yeah.
You know, and you're just
Wow.
like, dude, that's nuts. But
It's crazy, you know,
the
but we just
biggest,
try and do it as quick as we can. But we're very particular and very professional about it, though, you know. So if it doesn't work, we'll just leave the one scene to another day. But normally we're very extreme and full on about the way we work. Yeah, we only have just a short lunch break, and that's the way we do things, you know. So maybe
no,
the next film may be different, like bigger budget. We may have longer, may get an hour to eat lunch. I don't know.
like you get an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Hurry up and
exactly. Yeah.
eat.
Extra
No,
6 sandwiches. Yeah, cool.
it was awesome. Like I really enjoyed it, you
Thank
know?
you.
And like I said, like even after the dad was involved, and then you start feeling kind of sad for her of what's going on with it. But then, what else? And then she's like, you know what? I got an idea. And then she starts confirming with the therapist. You're just like, don't do that. That's called evidence. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
You know. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very difficult to answer that one, to sort of scoot around it. But the therapist is sensible in, let's say, in some senses, you know, but not completely sensible, I suppose. But the therapist is very like a Charles Manson character, and that's why I wrote her in like that. It's the first thing I thought of when I wrote Mamushi was Charles Manson. Yeah. So,
Really?
yeah, exactly. Completely. Just wanted someone like that. And
Yeah,
Armour's
that makes...
very like that. Yeah.
So can I ask, what does Mamushi mean?
Mamushi means he's Japanese. It's like a Japanese viper.
Yeah.
But Megan Thee Stallion, the rapper, had a song called Mamushi, and the film was called Mamushi. So I couldn't use it. So it was called Beyond Armour. And I just didn't like it, sat with it for a few months, and then suddenly thought, fuck it, I'm just going to throw the Mamushi in there. It sounds like two swords going together for some reason. It sounds like some crazy film, and just used it in the end. So, and a lot of reviewers have put 2 and 2 together in their own ways and said, oh, the Viper's Chris. That's Chris's personality. I didn't think of it like that, but possibly it is. But Beyond Mamushi can't be explained to the viewer unless the viewer's seen the films. It's got 2 meanings. So unless you've seen the film, you can't, you know, it's like a spoiler. The whole title was a spoiler.
Yeah.
Know?
I used to Yeah, I used to speak Japanese, and so I was like,
Wow.
wait a second. Yeah, I don't know if you know, everything's too small in my office, but yeah,
Okay.
I was just wondering where it all
Yeah,
came
Japanese
from.
Bible. So it works, it just seems to work, and people have a great time pronouncing it. So it's
Well,
kind of
Anthony
fun,
did it.
really.
Anthony said Mamusha.
I did.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Remember,
said
Mamushi,
that.
Anthony,
yeah.
when you did that? No.
I do
I'll
remember that
make
I
sure the
said
next
that.
films. I'll make sure next film, if there is one, is easier to pronounce. Like, I'll make
No,
sure.
because then we won't have anything to poke at.
I know.
Anthony's the
Okay.
professional one. I'm
I'm
usually
sure
the
you
one that
two would
messes
find
up.
something. Yeah, I'm sure you two will.
No, no, I don't want to spoil, the ending of it or anything like that, because this will probably come out before your festivals are done. But
Yeah.
if you have made it this far in the chat, for sure watch it. Don't want to spoil the ending, anything like that. But stuff does get real
Oh
in
yeah.
the movie. And
Yeah.
then get your own idea of what's going on. Like I said, like I look at it and it's still one of those great things where it's, was it happening? Did it happen? Is it real? Is it not? Like you need to think for it, like great concept, everything like that with it, and then the ending of it, you're like, what? So just leave it at that. Don't say the ending happens and you're like, wait a second. And then, yeah.
Ah,
So
yeah.
no,
Okay.
it was
Cool.
awesome.
You
Really
just really
enjoyed
want to tell your audience, don't you? You want to tell them so badly.
it. No, they're going to be like, all right, let's do this, cause like
Uh,
we enjoy like what we do,
yeah.
like we like watching movies, but at some point, like it's the same stuff over again, Hollywood movies, I mean,
Yeah.
and so we got into these indie movies, and these indie movies, it's like I always compare it to NBA and college basketball.
Right.
College basketball, you're going hard, you're doing the crazy dunks, you're doing all this stuff because you're trying to get to that next level. You're
Right.
trying to do it, Then when you get to
Yeah.
Hollywood, or if you get to the NBA, then you're like, well, I don't want to blow my knee out, so I don't want to dunk too crazy because you've already made it, And so
Exactly.
like Hollywood, you've already made it, so you can just do the same thing with, what? It's the 20-year anniversary of the mass murder. Let's do a movie about that, But
Right.
these indie films, it's always new ideas. There's always new stuff that's coming out, stuff that has happened. There's been a couple indie movies where in Hollywood films, if the mass murderer is going after you, the person's like, oh, I'm just going to die. But in indie movies, these guys are like, you know what? Fuck that. If I'm going to get murdered, I'm going to go out fighting.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, why
That's
doesn't any Hollywood movies put up fights? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
these movies, the indie movies, we absolutely love them. Your concept of this movie, like I said, the different views that I took of it were like the camera was darker. I was like, I don't know if that's in her mind or if that's a flashback or if it's going on and she's just upset about it. So
Yeah.
all of that stuff was great. Like we loved it,
Wow.
man. Like,
Thank you
Oh
very
yeah.
much. Like, we appreciate it. We appreciate anybody who likes our film. It's a big deal to us.
some jackass driving around. Did you hear that car outside my office?
I heard
No,
that.
I've got my fan on here because it's a heat wave in London. It's still hot, So
What's it at right now?
I'm not sure. I think it's quite low, like 27, 28, but still, we're not really used to it here. We're not used to that
Really?
kind of weather for that length of time, anyway. And yeah, it's been a struggle for some people, I must admit. For my parents, it is because they're kind of late 80s, but it's just that's it. It's the way things are. It's going to get hotter each summer. It just seems like it's getting like that now. So you got to
Yeah.
try and adapt. You got to try and adapt to it. But we'd like it to piss down of rain now. It'd be really nice.
That'd be nice.
It's we have a really good friend from Australia, and he has funny, a piss of rain and stuff like that. Where that's
It's
not,
rain, yeah. No, because it's different in America. But I suppose
it's nowhere.
pissing down. It's pissing down here, and that's the thing. It's like Americans have adopted. So I think Americans adopted the word wanker quite a while ago. I was like, wow, Americans are saying wanker now. This is really good. So but then people in London are adopting American words, like younger people. So yeah, I think that's good. I think that's really healthy. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, like what knob? Knobhead?
Knobs, yeah, knobhead, twat, you know.
Twat,
that
we've
kind
always
of
had
thing.
twat, but
Twat's great,
knob
you
and
know.
stuff like that. That's hilarious.
Hunt
But
face, yeah, those ones are great. So there's lots really. So lots to
yeah,
choose from. There's lots of bricks around to use it on as well. So it's the way it is.
but I
But
think
yeah.
we Anthony, got anything else?
We have our final questions.
Yeah, we have that's usually two final hard questions, but I think I've got a third one, and I think I know the answer to the third one already.
Oh,
So
Hilarious.
the first question we normally ask is there anything or any movies you would recommend to us to watch?
recommend to you to watch. I recommend The Phantom Carriage.
The
Victor
Phantom
Sjöström.
Carriage. Hold on.
Yeah, Victor
Let me get my.
Sjöström. I think it's from 1923, Swedish. Victor Sjöström. It's often called a fantasy film, but I see it as a supernatural kind of horror film. Fantastic silent film, one of the
The,
greatest, and
the
one of the
Phantom
greatest.
Carriage. I just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
and if you
Okay.
can find the version where KTL have soundtracked it, that's the version to get because it's so fucking good. KTL being Stephen O'Malley, who's in Sun. I'm not sure if you've heard of a band called Sun, and Peter Reberg, who's unfortunately not with us anymore. Amazing soundtrack, amazing film. Really love that. A film from 1966 called Blow Up by Michelangelo Antonioni. It's a classic Italian director about a photographer in swinging 60s London. Phenomenal film, you know. I'm obviously not going to. The thing is, I can't really recommend really horror films because I don't really watch that many horror films that
No,
much. So
we've had.
generally, other films, I'd recommend to you. My favourite film is Saturday Night and Sunday Morning from 1960. Albert Finney film, one of the greatest films ever. Is the greatest film ever made. I'd recommend that. But most of the other films you've probably seen, so because you two seem very switched on with your subjects, so I'd imagine you know what your films are.
No, we
Definitely.
have funny. Like, there's sometimes like I think the funniest one was somebody's like, I really like Mrs. Doubtfire, and you're like, God damn it! All right, well,
Cool.
we'll put that on the list. It
Nothing
doesn't
wrong with
matter if
that.
it's
Nothing wrong with
horror,
that.
if it's comedy, it doesn't matter. But if you would suggest watching a movie, if I was like, hey, I don't have anything to do tonight, what's a movie I should watch?
If you want a comedy horror movie where people call it one of the most extreme movies ever made, which I see it as comedy as well, is Sarlo. You must have heard of Sarlo
Oh
by
yeah, I heard about that.
Paolo Pasolini and the Marquis de Sade, 17th century sadism book. Yeah, it's kind of funny as well as it being disgusting because the disgusting stuff is done so cheaply. It's kind of hilarious, and blood sucking freaks. What can I say? That's one of the
Oh,
greatest
Yeah,
films
I love
ever
that
made.
movie.
It's
we've
just
seen
genius. I loved it
that
since I
one's
was
funny.
like 15. Yeah, it's just, but it has that feel. And if you've got 2 seconds, if I can say something here, and I'm very frustrated at the moment by Tom Six on this film called The Narnia Club. And my frustration with that film is I've got no problem with him, got no problem with the human centipede, but my problem is he makes it out to be the most extreme film ever made. And it's not, no one's going to ever see it. It's not going to be released because no one will touch it. But the reason no one's going to touch it, apparently, allegedly, is he's charging too much for the studios to show it, but he's dressing it up the other way. So the thing is, I've kind of lost all faith in him for that. And I think, and he says, Solo is the most extreme film. I'm like, man, you just want to get out more, and fly a kite, just do
Yeah,
something. I don't know, So I just think that's the problem now where people, when they've got too much fucking money, the ego goes and stuff. And I'm really annoyed by that. So,
yeah. No, that's where we are not big at all, and so we've had people hit us up with us like, hey, we watch this, hey, we watch that. We're like, dude, it's an honor for us to, even like I said, for you to have somehow found us and give us the opportunity to watch your movie. Like, man, we greatly appreciate it. And then you're taking the time to meet with us. We're just a bunch of nerds, dude.
Man, it's exactly the same. It's right back at you. It's exactly the same, So I'm just, we're honoured, the guys, you know, whether I'm doing it or, you know, we're all doing the podcast, you know, because we do cast ones sometimes with people, and you know, they watch all these and stuff. So yeah, well, we're always honoured if people ask us on, because it's your time, you know, and we appreciate your time watching our film, and we appreciate your time if you wanted to interview. So yeah, it's exactly the same for us.
Man.
Amazing.
Second hard question is, are you working on anything that you can tell us about without getting in trouble about it? Or does that make
yeah, there will be another film, but it's going to be a long way off, like a long way off. But yeah, there is something. Yeah.
Any oh well, never mind then. I was gonna say
It's going to
any
be
concept, but I want somebody to listen and be like, you know what? I'm gonna hurry up and get it done.
it's going to
No.
be crime horror. It's going to be faster than this film.
Ooh.
Hopefully, it's going to be a bigger budget, but there's a long way to go. Yeah, I've already cast 2 people. One of you may know, and one of them who you may know if you watched my previous film. So, you know, and that's all I've really give away. But yeah, it's going to be a full-on film. Yeah, and a really good. The story's really good. I haven't wrote a script yet. Got loads of ideas, and I normally cobble them together. And normally start in the middle of a film. So with the dad, the thing with the dad, what you know what happened to him in Beyond Mamushi. I started with that scene and built a film around that scene. Yeah. So I was thinking, what's the most unfair thing I can do? I was thinking, great, you know, walking stick. So that's what I did. I wrote that scene in and kind of laughed my head off when I wrote it, thinking it's so absurdly kind of extreme, and thought, how do I make a film around this then? And just did that. That's the challenge, yeah. So you do that. You barricade yourself in with your own film. That's how I see it.
Damn, that's some good advice.
I like
I
that.
know. So you do it, yeah.
All right. Then the last one. This is just funny and personal. Did we move our chat up because of the game that's on in an hour and 10 minutes?
No, because England, as you know, even though I support the England women, not really the men, but I did watch the match a few days ago. Obviously, I was disappointed. Disappointed with Argentina's attitude as well.
Yeah,
obviously, dude. Disgusting attitude of theirs. They could have been really sportsmanlike, but there wasn't. And I think that tonight, I'm not remotest, you know, no remote interest in the game tonight at all. No, you know.
I know, like I have a nephew, and he's a big Messi fan, and I'm
Right.
like, dude, I used to like Messi, and then after this, you know, this World Cup, I was like, dude, Messi sucks, man. Like, I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah.
And so my nephew was like, hey, you know, should we jump on? I was like, no, I got to meet with some people and talk about a movie. And then, you know, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to watch tomorrow's game, but yeah, my nephew's a big Messi fan. He was nice, and then you start seeing all this backlash and everything going on with it, and you're like,
awful.
come on,
absolutely
man.
awful.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
So
it
we're
was
about to
awful.
go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna go watch what Sir Henry Kane. Hopefully,
So
get
Harry
into third.
Kane, yeah. So Harry Kane. I mean, if you see Messi, he slips over. It's like, what a wanker! Like, you know, it's like he's the best in the world. And highest
Such
paid,
a
he
crybaby.
slips over. Like, you know, I mean, well, he could get in better boots. You know, he's the best in the world, but he's retiring now. So you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, if England lose against France, or if they're losing against France at the moment, I've no idea. Then it could be
No, it
even.
starts in an hour and 8 minutes.
Oh, does it? Okay, so yeah, but it's just you know, the women have done so well, and they're real underdogs at the Euro twice. They lost in the final to Spain, World Cup. You know, they do really well. They got some amazing players, and I always support them, and I have done for many years and stuff. So, not to be sexist, but I've just got more faith in England women than the men, really. But it's the manager
Really?
it's the manager that fucks up the other day. It's not the team. The manager basically fucked up at the last minute, and
No,
no.
England got robbed, dude. England got robbed against Argentina, especially when freaking the ball clearly hits the wire and then it falls down. And they're just like, oh, no, I didn't say anything. You're just like, so what the hell? There's a ghost up there that stopped the ball like mid-air. Like, come the fuck on. Anyways.
England versus the envelope. That's what it is, you know, the FIFA envelope, you know. It's just corruption. Power, corruption, and lies, you know.
So, but yeah, we appreciate it, and yeah, man, we're looking forward. What was the name of your comedy, so we can put that out there?
Lizzie Head, and it's on Prime at the moment. You know.
Lizzie Head.
Yeah, probably
Lizzie
if the Prime executives watch this, it won't be on Prime much longer. But like but you know, I'm done for. I'm done for. That's it. You know, I have to go on some tiny horror streaming thing or something. You know, but yeah, Lizzie Head. Yeah, we was going to do a second one. We didn't, and I opted to do Beyond Mamushi, and I'm glad I made that choice.
All right.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, thank you for talking to us.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. You know, really, really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, man.
We'd love to come back. The cast would like to come on one day and talk to you, I'm sure, you know.
Absolutely.
Let's
Love
do
to
it.
talk to you. Yeah, they're much more interesting than me, you know. But like, you know, they're great. They're actually really interesting people. So yeah, that would be good one day if you wanted to do it. But but yeah, thank you. And I appreciate your questions because you didn't do the usual what podcasts do. You kind of went just into the guts of the film, and I kind of thought that was really interesting.
No, we try. Like, I know there's been a couple times, like, we figure, you know, we like to call these things like conversations or chats instead of like interviews. You know, we've had a bunch of them, and there's only been like one or two where there's like, you know, you need to send us every question you're going to ask them, where it's like, we just talk. You know, like when you say something, I was like, oh, that brings up another question I got, blah, 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 you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's a chat. Like, we're just having a nice conversation, you know? Like,
yeah, I like it. I think it's a really good way to, because you can see that you've really studied the film and you've really liked the film and you're into it. And I think that's really nice when people, you can just see they're genuinely interested, you know, it's nice.
oh, we appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, oh, wait, there's that one more thing. If people want to follow you, anything like that, where can they follow you, get in touch, anything, you know, your social media, your, you know, credit card information, stuff. You know, where can they find your movies? Where can they do anything?
Yeah, I'll do the credit card information first so we get it out of the way soon.
Let's hurry up and do that.
Everybody on Earth, yeah. I mean, there's not much in there, so they can help them fucking selves. You know, after
pay
this
your
film,
part,
there's
though.
not much left. Yeah. So there's the Instagram Beyond Mamushi, Beyond Mamushi Film, and the TikTok is Beyond Mamushi 1, I think it is, and that's it. There's no Facebook really or anything like that. Just done the Instagram and TikTok. That's all I've done for this film, really. So
what
far.
about you personally? Like, you know, with all the other work that you've done or anything like that, do you have it, or is it just straight your Beyond Mamushi?
No, there's an Instagram called MW Daniels Films, and so Beyond Mamushi and Lizzie Head and all the other films are on there. If people want to scroll, if they got like boring lives and they just want to look at my old stuff, you know. No. So if they just want to look back to 2016 about what I was doing, I'm sure they got better fucking things to do than that.
No way,
but
man.
Sometimes you get people who want to, you know, creepy people who want to see these things and know what you're doing. But yeah, so everything's on there. Yeah, all that kind of stuff's on there, and that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you
for putting up with our shenanigans.
Rated B, rated the podcasting stage.